Hai is a smelly loser from the underworld who couldn't protect his sister when she was executed right in front of his eyes. After dying with regret, he turns into a ghost who collects souls from the human world. But one small mistake makes him the most powerful ghost ever, and now he wants to take revenge on the world that ruined his life. However, before any of this, the world is divided into 3 realms known as Heaven, Mortal Realm, and the Underworld. The living beings in the world are created by spirits, and to keep the balance between these realms, the spirits need to circulate between these realms, and those who collect the spirits are called black and white fighters from the underworld. Somewhere in the underworld, the alarm clock wakes Zio Hai up and he realizes that he is late for work. He gets up and rushes into his younger sister Zio Bai to wake her up, and they quickly leave to attend a meeting with their boss Bao, who is also known as the Demon Lord. Meanwhile, Bao is pissed off because the siblings never make it on time, but his secretary, Sha Xiaomi, tells him that these siblings are special so he should not be angry. As the duo appears at the temple, they start apologizing, but Xiaomi tells them that their job was to collect 303 souls of the dead and take them to Fengdu Ghost Town for allocation. Hai reveals that they couldn't collect any soul, which makes Bao angrier, and he scolds them before giving them another mission and telling them to get out of his sight. The duo leaves immediately and makes it to a boarding ship at last moment, where Bai bumps into a creepy man, Lei. But before he could hurt them, Lu Shu approaches him and tells him to ignore since they are just kids. Bai says that this duo is the best black and white fighters, but Hai says that one day they will become the best fighters. In the human world, one kid beats the crap out of some thugs like they are nothing when suddenly the siblings appear at the scene and identify that this kid is possessed by some evil spirit, so they get ready to take him down. Unexpectedly, their efforts prove to be futile, so they decide to escape, but the evil spirit leaves the kid's body and follows them to the rooftop of a building and knocks down Bai with a powerful strike. The evil spirit charges at Hai with full power, but Lu Shu appears out of nowhere and takes him down in an instant, after which she collects the evil spirit and leaves without a word. Deep down in the ocean, the underworld team finds out that the seal between the worlds is weakening and informs the Lieutenant White Dragon that it will cause wandering spirits to go out of control. So White Dragon orders them to increase the power of auxiliary machines. At the temple, the siblings get scolded by Bao for not completing their mission when suddenly the Ghost King, Zhang Kui, enters the temple and tells Bao that he was asked to take care of the kids. Bao quickly allows him to take responsibility before asking his secretary to assign a mission to the siblings and make them leave for now. Afterward, Zhang informs Bao about the weakening of the seal, so Bao asks him to share details. Meanwhile, the duo goes into a comic artist's basement to take his soul, but his crush, Zia, knocks at the door, so they decide to stay put until she leaves. They overhear the girl's sympathetic comments on the comic artist's daily struggle to get noticed by some publishers. The boy informs her that today he has an appointment with a publisher, which makes her happy, and she gives him breakfast before leaving. Bai asks Hai to leave the boy alone, but Hai says that this might be their last chance of keeping their jobs. He says that the boy is using a pencil to draw, which means that there must be a sharp knife nearby that will be used to end the boy's life. Just then, the lead of the pencil breaks and Hai gets ready to fulfill his mission, but the boy takes out a cute sharpener, leaving them surprised. Hai says that they need a flower pot to hit the boy's head to make it look like an accident and take his soul, after which the duo leaves to look for the flower pot near his basement. However, despite giving their best, the duo fails to find any flower pot. Hai panics and says that Bao will punish them if they don't take the boy's soul, when suddenly they see the boy leaving in a taxi for his appointment. The duo follows the boy to the publisher's office, where Hai disguises himself as a human to bump into the boy and starts begging, saying that he hasn't eaten anything for 3 days. The boy feels sorry for him and gives him 2 coins, but Hai gets furious, so the boy gives him the breakfast Zia made for him. At that moment, Bai also appears at the scene, and they notice that the comic artist has gone already. Inside the office, the publisher tells the boy that his comic is boring and he should kill himself, so the boy decides to leave, and it's revealed that Hai was using his powers to mislead the publisher. The boy goes on the rooftop and thinks that he sacrificed everything to come to a big city, but he gained nothing. Just then, he happens to see a man getting close to Zia, which makes him depressed even more. However, this happens to be another trick of Hai. Bai tells Hai to leave the boy when suddenly the boy jumps off the rooftop. Hai keeps looking at the breakfast Zia made for the boy before telling Bai to save the boy. The duo manages to save the boy on time, and everyone gathers around him, only to get surprised that he doesn't even have a scratch. The boy also tries to figure out how he survived when suddenly the publisher approaches him and says that he is the best comic artist, and he will surely make a big fortune. She asks him to sign a formal contract with her company, and the boy becomes happy, but Hai and Bai start crying, thinking that they are going to get fired for not completing the mission. Contrarily, White Dragon informs Zhang that the crack of the seal is enlarging, which means they only have 3 days. Zhang replies that he will arrive there with other fighters within 3 days, but when the call ends, a subordinate informs him that due to the unbelievable force from opposite side, they won't be able to hold it for 3 days. In the underworld's training grounds, Lei trains himself by fighting the hardest level robot, and after beating him down, he notices that Lu Shu is watching him. Lei asks Lu Shu to stop slacking off and start training, but she demonstrates that she is not the best fighter for no reason. Lei informs her that all fighters are ordered for a gathering involving the Great Seal when suddenly a servant approaches the duo and informs them that Bao has ordered them to immediately leave for Mount White because Hai got lost while carrying out a mission there. On the other hand, Hai wakes up only to find himself in the middle of a strange place. He remembers that Xiaomi assigned him a crucial mission of taking an old-timer to the bottom of Mount White. During their journey, a monster attacked their ship, and he ended up in this strange place which he thinks could be the monster's stomach. Meanwhile, Bai explains to Zhang that they just wanted to fulfill the old man's last wish, but Zhang scolds her for their actions. As Zhang leaves, White Dragon comforts Bai by telling her that Zhang will figure out something. On the contrary, Hai sees Bai standing at a distance, so he runs towards her only to realize that he was just hallucinating. Back on the fighter's ship, White Dragon tells Bai that Zhang sealed 99 eviless ghosts, and the monster that attacked their ship could be the spirit of one of those monsters that leaked out of the crack. Just then, the pilot informs Zhang that the seal has broken and all their systems have collapsed, which makes him worried. Back in the strange land, Hai blames himself for not being able to achieve anything in his life despite being a black and white fighter. He sees a giant statue in the desert and runs towards it. Upon reaching near the statue, he becomes depressed again, but suddenly a man appears on the head of the statue and says that Hai is getting depressed over nothing because he has been trapped here for over 1,000 years. Meanwhile, the ghosts start coming out of the broke seal, so Zhang tells White Dragon and Bai that these ghosts harm the mortal realm, and it cost him a great effort to seal them. He asks White Dragon to send the fighters to chase the monsters. As the fighters leave, the monster number 97 emerges in front of their ship, leaving them surprised. In the meantime, Hai shouts at the creepy man that he will go back to his home, but the man smiles and welcomes him, saying that he is actually back to his real home after many years. Hai gets confused, so the man tells him that he might have lost his memory. The man restrains Hai with chains and tells him that this is the place where the wandering spirits are kept for 1,000 years, and Hai is one of them. Back at the ship, 97 says that he has eaten numerous ghosts in the prison and now he is going to take revenge. Everyone pees their pants as 97 attacks Zhang, but unexpectedly Zhang spits on him, which destroys him completely, leaving everyone shocked. Afterward, Zhang asks White Dragon to ask his men to prepare the Jinko cannon, but White Dragon says that the Jinko cannon is very powerful. Zhang says that they must act before the chaos spread further, and White Dragon grasps that Zhang is talking about Hai. On the other hand, Hai says that he can never be one of the evil ghosts because he is the black and white fighter. He adds that since the man is a wandering spirit, he will show no mercy. Hai summons his sword and cuts down the chains in an instant, but he notices that the man is absorbing other ghosts, which surprises him since he believed that only soul eaters can do it. With this, the man turns around and repeats that Hai is one of them. On the contrary, Zhang tells White Dragon that he is going to save Hai because he can't handle the situation alone. White Dragon says that it's very dangerous because the Jinko cannon will kill Hai and Zhang. Bai says that she also wants to go with Zhang, but Zhang's expression changes and he becomes furious. Just then, Lu Shu also arrives at the scene and throws the drink can at Zhang, resulting in him turning back to normal. She informs him that Bao sent her there, so Zhang tells Lu Shu to take care of Bai and asks White Dragon to fire Jinko cannon and destroy the seal if he doesn't return in an hour. Meanwhile, as Hai watches the man absorbing shadows, he feels someone's presence behind him, so he swings his sword and cuts down a ghost, resulting in getting appreciation from the man. He then attacks Hai with spirits, and Hai tries to deflect all attacks with his sword. The man tells him that he broke the great seal of the ghosts, and now they are about to go to the human world. He then strangles Hai with a powerful spirit, but he manages to stop it from devouring him. However, the spirit suddenly frees him and starts getting into Hai through his hand, causing him unbearable pain. Hai falls onto his knees and countless spirits start entering his body, so the man tells him that the more spirits he absorbs, the stronger he will get, and eventually he will become the man's food. With this, a massive explosion covers the area, leaving the man in a state of shock. As the dust settles, the man sees Hai walking towards him, but he notices that something has changed in Hai's aura. Hai transforms into a powerful being with the help of absorbed spirits and says that he is going to devour the man. Meanwhile, Zhang heads toward the broken seal, thinking that he must rescue Hai before the Jinko cannon destroys everything, but as he reaches near the cracked seal, he is welcomed by 3 spirits who are seeking revenge on him. The trio feels Hai's immense aura coming out of the seal, which makes them happy, and they say that now they are going to take down the underworld with unity. However, Zhang doesn't agree with them and launches a powerful attack at them. Back on the ship, the underworld team also detects strange power flowing out of the seal that causes their systems to get broken. Bai asks what's happening, only to be informed by Lu Shu that something must have happened there, and she also reveals that Hai is the 100th ghost of the Great Seal. In the ghost land, the man attacks Hai, but he easily stops him and starts beating him like an insolent brat. Hai remembers that the man is Sansang Wajai, so Sansang becomes happy and says that he is looking good now. However, just when Sansang tries to joke about Hai's looks before transforming, Hai delivers the final blow, and Zhang also confirms that Hai has finally released his ghost spirit. The trio says that they waited for 1,000 years to beat Zhang, but Zhang says that they are still dumpsters to him. He adds that he killed 97 without breaking a sweat, but the ghosts say that they are not weaklings like 97 because they kept training for 1,000 years. Zhang smiles and uses his ghost spirit to summon his sword. He moves quickly and cuts them down one by one in an instant before leaving to rescue Hai. Meanwhile, Sansang gets up and summons his blade as well. He swings his blade to put Hai under his genjutsu and uses his power to absorb Hai. However, Hai experiences strange flashbacks of his past human life where he was a prince of a kingdom. He sees his father, mother, and a younger sister named Huan. He suddenly wakes up and decides to get out of Sansang's traps, but despite trying, he fails to get free and Sansang keeps sucking him deeper into his trap. On the ship, White Dragon is informed that their systems are badly damaged, but they somehow manage to monitor a certain area. White Dragon asks his men to show him what's happening in the battlefield. As the signals restore, they see Sansang is about to consume Hai when suddenly Zhang also arrives at the scene. However, Zhang notices that he is late because Hai is nowhere to be seen. Zhang asks Sansang what he did to Hai, so Sansang reveals that he has eaten him. Zhang becomes furious and summons his sword to knock some sense into Sansang. He attacks with his sword, but Sansang easily blocks it, leaving everyone surprised. White Dragon tells his subordinate not to let Bai know about what happened to her brother, but when he turns around, he sees Bai and Lu Shu standing. He tries to comfort Bai, but she seems to be unable to understand anything. On the other hand, Sansang keeps mocking Zhang for being furious over a child who was nothing but a monster. Zhang uses his ultimate technique in a fit of rage that causes the land to transform into an ocean of fire. Meanwhile, Hai once again sees flashbacks of his human life where he meets his sister for the first time. Suddenly, one maid arrives and informs his mother that the people of their kingdom believe that a fox spirit resides in her daughter, which is why they are demanding the king to kill the baby girl. However, Hai promises her mother that he will always take care of his sister no matter what. With this, Hai opens his eyes and finds himself standing in a void with a spotlight above his head. He sees the ghost version of himself standing at a distance, getting frustrated over being imprisoned once again. Hai lifts his sword, but the evil ghost tells him to put it down and think who he really is. Hai introduces himself as the black and white fighter from the underworld, so the evil ghost shows him the human version of himself. With this, Hai sees a flashback of his underworld life where Bai asks him that humans turn into ghosts after death, but what happens to ghosts? Hai replies that Zhang told him that ghosts go into nothingness, but then Bai asks him what is meant by nothingness. Suddenly, Hai opens his eyes and thinks that maybe this is the nothingness Zhang was referring to. Hai then sees another flashback of his human life where he is getting trained by his master. Hai's mother's maid and Huan also arrive there to check on him, and his master tells the maid that things are not going well with the imperial court. Afterward, everything becomes crazy in their country due to wars, natural disasters, and chaos that leads their country towards decay. Eventually, the guards are ordered to take Huan's life, so the queen decides to escape with her kids, but just when they are about to escape, Huan trips and falls. The guards hear her voice and start running towards them, so Hai's mother tells Hai to take care of his younger sister and meet General Zhu for help. With this, the secret passage closes, and their mother says her final goodbye to the kids. Back in the underworld, White Dragon tells Lu Shu that they need some time to launch the Jinko cannon, but he doesn't know when Zhang will return. Lu Shu replies that Zhang is a tough guy so he shouldn't be worried about him. Afterward, Lu Shu goes to Bai, who asks her about the Jinko cannon, so she tells her that it is the most powerful weapon in the underworld. Bai asks if it can kill all the ghosts, which makes Lu Shu quiet for a while. Lu Shu says that Hai once killed many lives in the human world, but they failed to destroy him, so they imprisoned him in the seal after erasing his memory. This makes Bai even sadder, and she says that now she understands that they are not related by blood and Hai is an evil ghost, while tears stream down her face. The scene shifts back to another flashback of Hai's past life where he approaches Hyun to tell her that he brought General Zhu, who is going to help them. Hyun tells Hai that they should escape immediately, but Hai says that Zhu will never harm them. Zhu approaches the siblings and tells them to surrender, which makes Hyun furious, so she knocks Hai unconscious with a karate chop and unleashes her fox spirit power to make them run from there. After a few months, Hai brings a bun for Hyun, but she uses her toy to say that she's been eating the same thing for a month, and she doesn't like it at all. Hai then shows her a flower-like toy, but she again uses her toy to say that it's childish and she doesn't want it, so Hai throws it away. Hyun then says that maybe the Good Samaritan could give them some treats, so Hai leaves immediately to bring food when suddenly she stops him and says that she likes the toy he brought. Just as Hai heads out of the house, Xiaomi knocks down Hyun with a karate chop, and coincidentally, Lu Shu and her senior Zhao also arrive there to invite Xiaomi to the underworld. On the way home with food, Hai overhears people talking about the execution of the princess of the previous dynasty, so he throws away the food and rushes towards the execution site. He sees a huge crowd standing there for entertainment, so he pushes them to make way from him. Upon reaching the end, Hai sees his sister tied with ropes around her neck and limbs. Hua tries to use the power of the fox spirit, but Zhao tells her that she won't be able to do anything because her power is sealed. Lu Shu also watches the whole scene with a heavy heart, but she decides to follow the orders. The duo then heads back to the underworld, leaving Hai alone with the burden of watching his sister being executed in front of him. The guard beats the horses to run in opposite directions, and they start moving. Hai feels like everything is happening in slow motion. He struggles to stop the guards, but being a kid, he can't do anything except scream. Lu Shu returns to their residence and sees Hyun's toy on the floor while the whole city enjoys the execution with excitement. Suddenly, the horses start to run, and Hai witnesses his sister being pulled with the ropes and eventually dying as her neck and limbs are separated. After Hyun, the guards take Hai's life as well, and while taking his last breaths he regrets that he couldn't keep the promise of protecting Hyun. At present, Lei heads toward Court 6 with a subordinate to get help from their generals since they are the best ones. His subordinate asks if Court 6 will help them, so Lei tells him that Lu Shu has arranged it well, but suddenly, they are stopped by one of the generals, Yao Renju. Yao says that he is not informed to receive anyone, and he immediately attacks Lei with his blade. However, Lei blocks the attack with his shield, and his subordinate tells Yao that there's an emergency in the Mount White, which is why they need to see Mr. Zhu. Yao takes them to General Siku Tongrong, who recognizes Lei as Lu Shu's partner. Siku tells Lei to return and tell Lu Shu that they have nothing to do with Court 6 no matter who she is. He then tells Lei to ask Zhang to come back because he will listen to his explanation with patience, but Lei tells him to go and talk to Zhang by himself. Siku becomes enraged, but two more generals, Dong Ting and Fu Fu, arrive at the scene and tell him to cut the crap. Siku says that he is simply following the rules, so Dong Ting asks Lei to return because they must obey the rules. Fu Fu adds that Dong Ting will relay their message, so Lei expresses his gratitude and leaves with his subordinate. On the other hand, Hai refuses to believe whatever he saw in flashbacks, and he says that he is the black fighter of Court 5 and his sighter is the white fighter. The evil ghost smiles and tells him that Court 5 is just using him like a tool, but Hai says that Zhang can never do anything like this. Back on the ship, a subordinate informs Lu Shu that the Jinko cannon is ready to fire, and due to the ghosts and wandering spirits, they are continuously experiencing heavy losses. Just then, White Dragon approaches Lu Shu and informs her that they can't reach Zhang because he got carried away by Hai's death and won't be able to make it back in short time. Meanwhile, Hai finally understands that his flashbacks were real, but the evil ghost keeps adding salt to his injury by reminding him how pathetic life his family lived. This makes Hai super mad, so he throws a punch at the evil ghost. Contrarily, Sansang and Zhang are still engaged in fierce close combat when suddenly an immense energy leaks out of the seal that scares everyone on the ship. Lu Shu tells White Dragon to prepare the Jinko cannon for launch, resulting in Bai getting another panic attack. Bai asks Lu Shu to wait for her brother, but Lu Shu says that more than an hour has passed already, so they can't wait anymore. Bai moves closer to Lu Shu and starts begging for her brother's life with tears in her eyes when suddenly Lu Shu slaps on her face. She says that Hai's life is valuable, but so are the lives of others on the ship. White Dragon apologizes to Bai and says that he must follow the orders, after which he orders his subordinates to prepare for attack. Unexpectedly, Bai jumps down in the seal in front of Lu Shu, leaving the whole crew surprised. Back in the void, Hai finds himself in a boat where everyone from his human life motivates him and tells him to take care of himself. But this helps accumulating hate in Hai's heart and he decides to end the world. Meanwhile, Zhang deals a good damage to Sansang's arm. But Sansang says that he is going to give Zhang a quick death, after which huge ominous aura starts coming out of his body. He adds that nobody can defeat him now when suddenly, he feels his buns tearing apart from inside, which causes a giant explosion in the area, so Zhang jumps back and observes carefully. He sees lightning behind the dust and hears Sansang screaming like a kid, which makes him scared and confused at the same time. As the dust settles, Zhang sees that the evil ghost has finally come out of Sansang's body. Zhang asks if he is Hai, but Hai calls him Ghost King, so Zhang says that he will explain everything after escaping the seal. However, Hai says that he is invincible and attacks with his newly gained powers. Zhang manages to stop his attack and deflects it, after which he moves quickly to subdue Hai. But he traps his hand and tries to blast it with another powerful attack. Zhang tries to calm Hai, but he asserts that he is going to take revenge on the worlds, so Zhang uses his rope to stop him from moving. Zhang then attacks Hai with his ultimate move when suddenly Bai rushes towards Hai to stop him. With a flash, Hai finds him in his underworld form and sees Bai approaching, leaping towards him, but when he tries to touch her, she shatters like a glass and they both get consumed by Hai's hatred. At the ship, the crew waits for Zhang to come out, but they panic to see a giant monster coming out of the seal. Lu Shu says that the seal is not going to last longer, and she never thought that such a giant monster would come out of it. At that moment, she feels someone's presence behind her, so she immediately turns only to see exhausted Zhang. He tells Lu Shu that the monster is Hai and Bai is inside him. He asks Lu Shu to divert the monster's attention while he will bring back Bai, after which he calls White Dragon and commands him to fire the Jinko cannon right after he sees them coming out of the monster. He adds that White Dragon is the only one who can do it perfectly, so White Dragon also gets motivated and vows to do his job perfectly. Lu Shu starts attacking the monster, but the monster responds with a bigger attack. Lu Shu deflects the attack, but it deals significant damage to her hand. She then uses her ultimate shield to block the monster's second attack and says that Zhang will have to make up for all the damage she is getting. Meanwhile, Dongting and Fufu arrives at Bao's temple, where they are welcomed by Xiaomi, who tells them that Bao is worried. Dongting asks her why she looks happy about it, but Xiaomi changes the topic and takes her to Bao. Dongting tells Bao that what happened in Mount White has influenced the underworld, so he replies that he is going to gather fighters from all courts. However, Dongting tells Bao to seal off the suppress the information because she doesn't want the situation to worsen. Bao argues that Bai is in danger, but Dongting replies that she should die this time. On the other hand, Zhang shows his exceptional skills by defeating the ghosts like a pro, and suddenly the monster's chest catches his attention where he sees Bai. As Zhang rushes towards Bai to rescue her, White Dragon tells his men to start the cannon. On the contrary, Lu Shu finally reaches her limit, so Zhang quickly rescues Bai and tells White Dragon to launch the fire on the monster. White Dragon immediately orders his men to act, and they finally manage to directly attack the monster. As the dust settles, they all get shocked to see that the monster is still unharmed, so Zhang tells Lu Shu to take care of Bai, after which he once again heads towards the monster. He jumps off his summoned beast and transforms into a giant warrior, leaving everyone surprised. Afterward, he punches straight into the monster's chest, followed by a jaw-breaking punch on his face. The evil spirits start losing control over Hai gradually, and the monster vanishes in thin air like it never existed. Afterward, Hai and Bai are admitted in a hospital, and somewhere in the cold an old enemy wakes up from his sleep. Afterward, Zhang explains to Bao whatever has happened so far. He reveals that the seal got destroyed and the ghosts ran away when suddenly Lu Shu also arrives there with traumatized Bai. She says that 1,000 years ago Hai couldn't let go of his sister's death and turned into an evil ghost. She admits that it was all her fault, and Bao says that whatever happened in Mount White and Hai's identity have been kept secret by Dongting, but after he remembers everything, Hai and Bai's life won't be same. A month later, Bai starts returning to her normal self and starts learning how to cook. The telephone rings, but she doesn't pick it up, and the system automatically starts recording the message from the caller, and the caller happens to be Zhang. He asks Bai to take Hai out of the hospital since he won't be able to make it due to a busy schedule. He acknowledges that things have not been good recently, but his house will always be their home and they both should take good care of themselves. He adds that they are going to seal Bai's gloves today and he will be waiting for her at the usual place. As the message ends, Bai messes up while trying to find spices and falls on the floor. On the other hand, Hai gets ready to leave the hospital when unexpectedly Bai arrives there, and Hai gets surprised to see that Bai made lunch for him. As they walk on road, Bai asks Hai if he wants to try the lunch, but he says that he is not hungry. He says that they just moved out of Zhang's house, so they have loads to do. Bai sees two siblings at a fast food shop, so she hi and asks him if he remembers that Zhang sealed her gloves when she was young. However, the gloves were heavy and she had to drag them everywhere. Then, Hai came to her and said that if they hold hands together, the gloves won't be heavy. She walks forward and says that she thought he was silly, but she misses those days. She turns and sees that Hai is standing on the other side of the railway crossing, which makes her sad. As the train goes away, Hai flicks Bai's head and tells her to stop being a scatterbrain because everything is fine. Meanwhile, at some facility we see a black and white fighters duo where creepy dolls start moving on their own and two mysterious figures appear with a grin on their faces. The duo goes straight to Zhang, who feels relaxed to see Hai back on his 2 feet. Bai informs him that the doctor said Hai is fine now, but Hai behaves strangely. They all head to Gan Zhang's shop, who is the most powerful weapons forger in the underworld. Inside Gan's shop, Zhang asks him why he set up an automatic bell on the door, so Gan tells him that last time he got robbed silently. Zhang tells him that they are here to get Bai's gloves sealed, but Gan says that the girl brings disasters every time. Hai asks Gan if it is dangerous to seal Bai's gloves, so Zhang replies that there is a slight risk. Bai says that she will be fine since it's not her first time, so Zhang tells her to help Gan while he talks to Hai. Afterward, Zhang tells Hai that 1,000 years ago, he was so caught up in work that he didn't have time to take care of Bai, so he released Hai from Seal hoping that he will take care of her. Hai says that when he first met Bai, he thought that she is going to be his everything and he can still feel that today. But she is not Huan. Zhang replies that he is thankful to Hai for everything he did for Bai and now he can decide if he wants to abandon her. But Hai says that he will keep protecting Bai. Zhang then goes to Bai and tells her that Hai needs some time. Zhang tells Bai that she got a lot of spirits that she can't control, which can lead to a disaster, so she needs to wear those special gloves. Zhang tries to talk about Bai's mother, but she says that she has nothing to do with her. In Court 6, Fu Fu approaches Dong Ting and informs her that their black and white fighters got missing in the mortal realm. But Dong Ting tells her that being a general, she shouldn't be worried about such trivial matters. However, as they leave the room, a picture of Hai and Bai is shown in Dong Ting's drawer. Back at Gan's shop, Hai hears disturbance from the lab, so he rushes and starts turning into the ghost, thinking that something bad have happened to Bai, but when Zhang brings her outside the lab, he turns back to normal. Afterward, Hai and Bai are sent for their usual missions of gathering human souls, so they head to the destined place where some mafias are finalizing their deals. One of the bosses sees the duo and tells his man to obliterate them so no evidence is left behind, so the man steps forward mocking Hai for holding a blade. However, Hai doesn't give a damn and cuts him down in an instant. He then kills all of them except the one who starts begging him, saying that his son is ill, and he is doing this bad work just to pay his hospital bills. But Hai says that it is none of his business. Hai kills him too and turns around only to give a smile to Bai, who is totally shocked to see Hai's new version. The duo heads back to the underworld where the receptionist appreciates them for gathering a handsome number of souls. However, 2 more black and white fighters arrive there and say that they are lying, that they managed to kill them since they are the weakest black and white fighters. Bai gets furious, but Hai stops her, and the receptionist tells the others to cut the crap, after which she gives them bonus and tells them to be careful because some black and white fighters violate the rules to get bonuses. In Mortal Realm, a mysterious man kills and eats a girl when suddenly his partner comes and takes him to their boss, Samer, who is also known as the White Ghost. Meanwhile, Sansang watches the whole scene from a distance, and he starts following them. The duo tells their boss that they killed the black and white fighters, but they couldn't find the ones he told them about. They beg for another chance, to which the boss replies that they have been tracked. Sansang tries to hide behind a pillar, but the Samer's right hand, and the 7th evil ghost, Man, starts firing spears randomly, and upon inspection they find out that it was Sansang who had escaped already. Samer tells them to find the black and white fighters in the underworld and warns them not to disappoint him this time. Meanwhile, Man keeps following Sansang, who makes shadow clones of himself and starts mocking her for serving others despite being a powerful ghost. Man takes down all the clones and traps the real one, resulting in making him surrender, after which she takes him to Samer. In the underworld, Hai takes Bai to buy her ice cream, where Hai notices that the ghost hunters are capturing a ghost. The ghost suddenly starts running towards Bai to eat her spirits, but one of the ghost hunters takes him down and sends him to prison. Afterward, the ghost hunter tells the siblings that ghosts are sneaking into the underworld for some reason and they are very hard to get under control. Hai suddenly finds himself standing in the void with the dead bodies of his friends around him. He asks the evil ghost why he killed his friends, but he replies that it is Hai who killed them. Just then, Bai flicks on his forehead and brings him back, only to ask him if they can eat out today. Hai then takes her to a restaurant, but she gets confused to see that the food is very expensive there. Just then the waitress approaches them, and Gan also arrives at the restaurant. They start asking how many ghosts they managed to kill, so Hai tells him that it's around 100, leaving everyone surprised because they have broken the previous record. The waitress starts flirting with Hai while Bai gets pissed and tells him to order food. Suddenly, Hai sees the dead bodies of his friends, which makes him startle, and he leaves immediately. As Hai sits in an alley, Samer's men approach him and start beating him to a pulp. The white-haired boy picks up Bai's keychain and starts mocking Hai, but he suddenly stands up and transforms into his ghost form. Meanwhile, Bai finds the alley and starts moving forward, where she finds Hai. She tells him to go home, and as they leave, Sansang approaches the dead bodies of Samer's men and eats their spirits. Afterward, Sansang returns to Samer and tells him the whole story and gets scared when Samer tells him that he knows who ate their spirits. Sansang pees his pants and thinks that he is done for, but Samer says that he has another trump card. In the underworld, the Ghost Hunters team carries out an operation to capture the wandering spirits. As the team enters in the building, they see someone feasting on a dead body, so they start firing like crazy. The captain hears everything through the wireless phone and tells his team to abort the mission, when suddenly a massive explosion in the building silences everyone. At that moment, the captain sees the ninth evil ghost, Ruomu, standing inside the building with flames around him. The news keeps alarming the underworld that more black and white fighters are going missing in the mortal realm, so Hai decides to check on Bai, but he forgets to knock at her door and feels embarrassed. At the dining table, he apologizes to Bai, and they watch the news where the anchor states that 3 black and white fighters are missing since yesterday, and Bao said that this might have something to do with the evil ghosts. Bai asks Hai if this is really the evil ghosts doing, but Hai says that he will protect her no matter what. The next day, Hai and Bai goes on the mission to collect an athlete's soul. They introduce themselves to the girl and inform her that she is going to die during the race due to health issues. The girl gets scared, which causes the bottle of illegal drugs fall off her hand, so Hai tells her that she is going to die in the final race because of these drugs, but the girl thinks that some kids are playing prank on her and she doesn't listen. She gets furious and tells them to leave, or she will call her manager. After this, the girl goes out of the dressing room while thinking this is her last chance, and she has to win this race at any cost. As the athletes get ready for the race, Hai tells Bai to kill the girl right after she crosses the finish line. However, Bai says that the girl's been trying so hard and it's her coach who forced her to take those drugs, but Hai says that it can't offset her mistakes. Bai says that Hai has changed a lot, but Hai replies that maybe he has grown up. In the meantime, the girl gets ready to sprint when Hai walks in front of her, leaving her surprised. She asks him to get lost, but the girl next to her doesn't get what she is talking about, which makes her realize that others are not able to the kid. Hai explains that only those who are dying can see him, but the girl says that she is doing all this to lead a better life. At that moment, the starter fires the gun, and everyone starts running, including the girl, who runs through Hai like he was never standing there. She thinks that she will win and become able to apply for the national competition, when suddenly, the white fighter from earlier takes her soul, and she falls on the ground. Hai asks why he took her soul, so his black partner says that the white is a little intense about his work. Bai remembers what the receptionist told them while giving them bonus, and she says that they are in charge of this area. The white creep starts saying disgusting stuff that killing someone feels like an achievement to him. Bai asks him if he is insane, which make him enraged, and he quickly leaps to cut her with his blade. However, Hai stops him at the right time, and they start fighting with their blades. The white creep throws Hai away with a kick, so Bai tries to stop him with her powers, but he knocks her down as well. Just when the white creep is about to kill Hai, Bai decides to use her uncontrollable spirits to kill everyone in the area, when suddenly Ruomu jumps in the scene out of nowhere, leaving everyone surprised. In the underworld, Zhang is informed that Ruomu has escaped after killing an entire ghost hunter team, when suddenly another subordinate arrives there and reveals that they have lost contact with another black and white fighters team. Back in the mortal realm, the black fighter tells his partner that they should kill the wandering spirit first because if the ghost hunter team sees them hurting the black and white fighters, they will be in big trouble. The white fighter tells Hai and Bai to leave, so Bai asks her brother that what should they do. Hai tells her to leave immediately, and as they walk away, Hai tells Bai that the evil ghost must be ranked somewhere among the top 10 evil ghosts. He tells her to call the ghost hunters team so they could buy some time to escape because they will eventually get killed by him. Bai says that it's not their way because they only kill the bad guys, but Hai says that he doesn't care who dies as long as he can protect her. Bai tries to argue but Hai leaves, so she follows him. On the other hand, Seimer approaches Ruomu and asks if he has done his job, so Ruomu shows him the white fighter, but Seimer says that it's not the fighter he is looking for. Ruomu then asks Seimer if he can eat the captured fighter and Seimer approves while telling him to find the real target since he doesn't have enough patience. Meanwhile, Bai sends a message to Zhang and says that they should find some place to hide, but suddenly Ruomu appears in front of them. Hai tries to protect Bai, but Ruomu turns him into a donut saying that he needs the girl. As Ruomu tries to catch Bai, Hai transforms into the evil ghost and throws him away with a punch before telling Bai to hide. However, Ruomu strikes back, after which he tries to eat his spirit, but Bai stops him and unleashes her spirits, causing a giant explosion that throws away Hai. Ruomu gets excited to consume uncontrollable spirits, but he gets consumed by the spirits and ultimately vanishes. Just then, Hai stands up again and starts looking for Bai. Meanwhile, Bai finds herself in a strangely beautiful apartment where a handsome man is preparing breakfast. As the clock rings the alarm, a beautiful lady wakes up and welcomes Bai. The lady takes a shower and gets dressed up only to look more beautiful. She asks Bai if she received any love letters, after which they all enjoy their breakfast. The lady tells Bai that her clothes look old-fashioned, and she makes her change her dressing since Bai is going on the very first date of her life. Afterward, Bai says goodbye to them and leaves only to find herself in a ruined city where she sees a girl of her age. That girl points her finger towards Bai, causing Bai to do the same, which resulting in making her special gloves disappear. Suddenly, Bai hears Hai's voice calling her name, which again takes her back to the mortal realm. Hai spots Bai standing in the middle of the ruins, so he rushes towards her, but she tells him to stop. Hai asks her to relax, stating that Zhang will be coming any minute, and that Zhang will fix everything. However, Bai says that she has not future because the enormous spirits will bring destruction to everyone around her, including him. Hai tells her not to give up, but Bai asks him to go away, so he says that Bai is his only hope, and he holds her hand, which suddenly sends them into another world. Hai hugs Bai to apologize for not protecting her and asks her to give him another chance by relying on him. Bai calms down and thanks Hai when suddenly Zhang appears, and they return to the mortal realm. Zhang immediately seals Bai's hand, and the soul eaters sent by White Dragon start eating the enormous spirits. With this, everything returns to normal, so Bai asks Hai if he was crying, but Hai doesn't admit it. Bai then says that they should return home, so Hai starts walking away after telling Hai to follow him. A few days later, Bai buys ice cream for Hai and herself, so they both sit on a bench and enjoy their favorite flavors. Hai tells Bai to stay cautious because the last mission was too dangerous. He then cleans ice cream for her face, which makes her remember when he hugged her, so she starts blushing and says that they should go home. As they walk home, the waitress from earlier stops them and informs that today's the Spirit Festival. She invites them at the festival and Bai agrees to join her. The duo goes to the festival where they various foods and performances, after which Hai tells Bai that the time for fireworks display has come, but she asks him to take her to one last shop. At the shop, Bai finds a pair of necklaces, and the shopkeeper tells her that these necklaces are called yin-yang jades, and those who wear these will always stay together. Bai buys the necklace, and Hai makes the payment, after which Bai goes out of the shop and bumps into Fu-Fu. Bai notices that Dong Ting is accompanying her, so she unintentionally calls her mother, but Dong Ting turns away her face. Fu-Fu starts calling her a jinx and tells her to stay away from Dong Ting when Dong Ting tells Fu-Fu to leave alone, and she moves forward. However, before going, Fu-Fu insults Bai, saying that her partner doesn't know about her, which is why he hasn't left her yet. Fu-Fu then leaves, but Hai happens to overhear everything, so Bai runs away without saying a word, and Hai starts looking for her. He finally finds Bai near a river, and she reveals that General Dong Ting is her mother, but she abandoned her because she couldn't control her powers. She says that she is like a curse, and nobody should ever get close to her, but Hai hugs her and puts the necklace around her neck while saying that he will never abandon her. Afterward, Sansang enters the underworld and burns the bridge that connects the underworld with the mortal realm. Lu Shu is informed that 2 ghosts were involved in this when suddenly Lei also arrives and tells her that another 2 ghosts did the same with Coast Port, causing the cancellation of transportation to the mortal realm. Meanwhile, Hai and Bai go to a theater to watch a horror movie where Bai gets scared and Hai wakes up to swing his sword like a fool while telling everyone to stay away from Bai. Afterward, they hear commotion from outside, so they head towards the smoke to check. In the meantime, Lu Shu and her team finally understand that the ghosts are trying to use the summoning magic by creating a circle, and their next target is going to be Zhang's house, but he is busy with his mission in the mortal realm. At Zhang's house, Sansing says that he is at the peak of his powers, but the duo makes him humble within a few minutes. Lu Shu and others contemplate that the Western demons can't enter the underworld, which is why they are using the ghosts to do this. Lu Shu says that if they save the last point, the magic circle won't work, so they all decide to go to Zhang's house. However, the inspection department's officials stop them at the door, saying that now they are in charge of this case. They say that these are the orders from the 5 ghost emperors that black and white fighters or ghost hunters are not allowed to interfere. At Zhang's house, Sansing tells everything to Hai and Bai, but suddenly his shadow clone vanishes and the real Sansing completes the final step. As the magic circle completes, 2 massive demonic buildings start coming out of the underworld, and Samer finally appears in front of Bai through a portal. He stops the time with a clap and approaches Bai only to tell her that she is his daughter. Samer tells Bai that he has arranged a welcome party for Bai, after which he calls the demons from the gates of hell to honor their princess. Samer then summons a giant monster that surprises everyone, while White Dragon orders his men to take down as many demons as they can. Hai transforms into his ghost form and creates a barrier around Bai to protect her, after which he starts cutting the demons like broccoli. Just then the giant monster attacks Hai, but he dodges and climbs up his head only to cut the monster into half. On the other hand, White Dragon's subordinate asks him if they should report Zhang about the situation, but White Dragon says that he's afraid Zhang himself is in danger. Meanwhile, Zhang is imprisoned by Siku, who tries to mock him, but Zhang stays calm. Siku says that he is the judge of his case because Bao ordered him to be the head of all affairs of Court 6. Siku says that Zhang intentionally hid the 100th ghost of the seal and made him work with a girl whose father is causing chaos in the underworld. Zhang gets worried about Bai, so he breaks free and starts beating down the guards, but gets subdued eventually. Siku takes the taser from one of the guards and knocks him down after Zhang takes down the rest of them, and it is revealed that it was Lu Shu who was disguised as Siku. Lu Shu tells Zhang that Dong Ting is sent to the human world for some work, which makes Zhang relieved because the situation would worsen if she met Samer. Meanwhile, Bai asks Samer that if he is her father, then why he didn't come to see her. So Samer replies that he is a devil in hell, which is why the underworld banned him from entering and seeing her. He then gifts her a beautiful dress and tells her to go to the land of devils. Bai says that she wants to live with her brother, and just then, Hai returns to her after beating down the demons. However, Samer attacks Hai, which enrages Bai, so he hypnotizes her and tells the demons to take her home. Hai gets up and takes down all the demons, so Samer decides to kill him with his own hands. He uses magical attacks to knock down Hai, after which he takes his horns, and just when he is about to leave, Zhang and Lu Shu jump in and rescues Hai. Meanwhile, Yang Yun, the Lord of the Northern Ghosts, gets furious to see that Samer thinks so little of the 5 Lords of Ghosts. Du Zion, the Lord of the Western Ghosts, and Zhu Kai, the Lord of the Central Ghosts, Kai Yulei, the Lord of the Eastern Ghosts, and Zhao Wen, the Lord of the Southern Ghosts, are also present there. Zhu Kai says that they don't need to take action because Ghost King and Yin Marshals will soon get the situation under control. Just then, a servant comes there and informs them that Western Hell has sent out an envoy to meet them. Contrarily, Hai passes out, so Lu Shu tries to heal him while Zhang destroys the demons like a pro. The White Dragon also arrives there with ghost hunters, prompting Samer to summon the magic circles, but Zhang asks the ghost hunters to stay down since they are no match for Samer. At that moment, Yin Marshal Siku and Xuan Yuan appear at the scene to recapture Zhang Kui. Siku tells Samara that he is not involved in his orders so he can go, which makes Lu Shu furious, but Siku says that anyone who tries to oppose them will get equal punishment. As Samer walks away, Zhang asks him if Bai will be fine before that day comes. Samer suddenly creates a magic circle to attack Zhang and asks how much he knows. Siku warns Samer that if he does anything to Zhang, it means he is interfering with his work, so Samer takes Bai and leaves. Zhang then tells Lu Shu to leave with Hai, after which Siku asks his men to subdue Zhang, but he escapes. However, Xuan Yuan tracks him down and they engage in a fierce battle. Zhang keeps dodging his attack while making him attack on the pillars, and just when Xuan Yuan thinks that he has won, the building demolishes and Zhang escapes once again. Sansang approaches Zhang, causing him to summon his sword, but Sansang says that he is here to know if Zhang is involved in something big. Afterward, Sikuo orders the tech team to keep eye on Lu Shu's house and orders other men to surround her house because he believes that Zhang will visit them sooner or later. Meanwhile, Hai falls off the bed and somehow manages to sit on the floor, but he feels extreme pain in his head. Lu Shu comes to his room and reveals that it hurts bad when a demon's horns are pulled out, but they will grow back. Hai then asks about Bai, so she tells him that Samer took her to the hell. Hai starts getting ready to save Bai, but Lu Shu tells him that currently, he is no match for Samer. She adds that Zhang told them that Samer won't do anything before that day. Hai asks what is that day, so Lu Shu tells him to follow her. Meanwhile, Western Hell's envoy Mulu meets the Lords of Ghosts, who present them with the invoice for damage caused by Samer. In addition to this, Juokai says that the underworld will need to be a part of Samer's trial if he ever gets captured by Western Hell. On the other hand, Lu Shu takes Hai to a barrier that is still out of the tech team's access, where she reveals that Bai has the power to destroy all realms because she is the combination of Dongting and Samer, who are most powerful in their realms. She adds that Zhang also told her that Hai is the most powerful among the 100 ghosts. Lu Shu also reveals that she gave half of her spiritual Kai to Zhang to protect him from bullying. She then takes Hai to another barrier to train himself. Meanwhile, Zhang meets Mulu by disguising himself as a driver, and he tells him that someone from the underworld can help them to beat Samer. Back in the barrier, Lu Shu shows a sword to Hai that Zhang created specially for him. She tells him that this sword absorbs the spiritual Kai of the holder, but Hai has infinite spiritual Kai, so he only needs to learn to control it. Hai transforms and pulls out the sword, after which Lu Shu challenges him for a duel. They suddenly engage in a fierce battle and the underworld starts shaking, making everyone surprised. Contrarily, the tech team clears the last barrier, so Siku tells them to barge in Lu's house and go inside the secret passage. The commandos finally make it to the second barrier, but they realize that they have returned to where they started from, and this makes Siku frustrated. On the contrary, Zhang finally arrives at the second barrier and introduces Mulu, who says that he will help them to sneak into hell. But he has two conditions. First, they must obliterate Samer, and second, he will only take them to Samer's territory, and they will have to do the rest on their own. Zhang then introduces the second comrade, who happens to be Sansang, but this makes Hai furious, and he starts attacking him, so Zhang subdues him and explains that he met him when he escaped from Siku. Sansang says that if they manage to kill Samer, he will be famous for being their guide, but if they lose, he will become Samer's loyal servant. Lu Shu gets furious, but Zhang tells her to stop since they need a guide in hell. With everything decided, Mulu opens the portal to hell. However, Siku's team detects traces of hell's magic from Lu Shu's house, so they head to report the 5 lords about it. There, Dongting tells Yongyun that he is using Zhukai's name as an excuse for not telling her about Samer's invasion. She then says that she is going to handle things her way and leaves. Afterward, Dongting tells Fufu to stop following her since she has decided to ask a certain person for help. On the other hand, Sansang takes the gang to the River of Misery, and they start their journey towards Samer's territory, which is also known as the Red Dragon Estate. Sansang informs them that the Red Dragon Estate is not easy to find, which is why even the administration of Hell doesn't know much about it, and once they reach there, everyone will be on their own. Meanwhile, Dongting takes down ghosts in frozen mountains, where suddenly Man also arrives to fight her, but Dongting kills her instantly and tells her that she is the strongest Lin Marshal in Underworld. Her husband is the strongest devil in Hell. Her daughter can destroy all realms, and her father, Chiyu, is the king of 10,000 ghosts. Back in the Underworld, Fufu tells the Lords of Ghosts that Dongting has left to get help from her father. One of them says that Chiyu just escaped the seal of 100 ghosts, and it's going to take a while till he regains his former strength. However, if Chiyu gains his strength, it will erupt chaos in the underworld, so Zhu Kai tells others that they are going to stop Dongting. As the sneaky squad makes it to the land, they are stopped by a strange man who happens to be Samer's servant. He says that they still have a long way to go if they are planning to go to Samer. He suddenly attacks them with water that cuts everything in its way, but the sneaky gang manages to dodge his attack, and Hai quickly rushes toward him, and they start fighting, but the bad guy easily overpowers him, and just when he is about to kill Hai, Lu Shu interferes and saves him. The gang suddenly feels that it's become harder to breathe, so Zhang tells them that the bad guy is doing it intentionally by using the moisture in the air. Sansang adds that the guy is using water from Misery River, which is said to bring out the traumas of a person. With this, everyone starts seeing flashbacks of their past that still haunts them. Zhang sees the time when he left his master to become an official, Hai sees the time when Huan was killed in front of him, and Lu Shu sees the time when she had to completed her first mission of killing the fox spirit. On the contrary, Dong Ting reaches the top of the mountain where a stranger calls her and says that he knew she will come for him. Dong Ting asks him to introduce himself, so he tells her that he is Chi Yu, but he is using someone else's body because his real body needs some time to gain its former glory. He asks Dong Ting's purpose of coming there, so Dong Ting starts releasing all the spirits she gathered so far and tells him that she wants to make a deal. Back in the Hell Realm, Lu Shu manages to wake herself from the illusion, after which she uses her barriers to wake others as well. However, the bad dude shows off his next trick by creating octopus-like demons who go berserk to kill them all. But Zhang takes care of them like they never existed. However, the man says that he can make hordes of these puppets without breaking a sweat, so Lu Shu understands that he is trying to deplete their spiritual Kai. Since Hai has unlimited spiritual Kai, Zhang lends his fire powers to Hai's sword, so he attacks with a new move and defeats him. As the man finally dies, a crystal comes out of his remains and opens a portal in front of them, so they all pass through it. On the contrary, Dong Ting gives away the very last spirit to her father, but he says that this much spiritual Kai is far from enough, so Dong Ting says that she will present enough spiritual Kai as long as her father can fulfill her dream. Chi Yu says that he will destroy the 3 realms and clear their names before then, and her little dream is just like icing on the cake. Unexpectedly, Zhu Kai, Yang Yun, and Du Zion appear at the scene through a portal, leaving Dong Ting surprised. She asks how they found this place, but when she sees Fu Fu with them, she gets her answer, which makes her furious. Yang Yun says that despite being the head of the Yin marshals, she committed such a monstrous crime. Du Zion says that firstly, she was the daughter of the evil ghost, Chi Yu. Secondly, she had an affair with the demon of hell, Samer, and these are all deadly sins. Zhu Kai tells her that she is removed from her position as the head of Yin marshals, and now she is going to be punished for betraying the underworld. Dong Ting says that she never compromises on something that she wants to get, and she is going to do what she has decided to. Zhuo Kai tells Yang Yun and Du Zion to take care of Chi Yu while he will deal with Dong Ting. With this, Yang Yun attacks Chi Yu, but he stops by creating a shield of crystals, after which he jumps off the mountain, so Yang Yun and Du Zion jumps after him and keep attacking him in midair. On the top, Dong Ting traps Zhu inside her wood-style jutsu, but Zhuo easily breaks free and flexes like an alpha male. Dong Ting then uses another move to throw him away, after which she starts chasing him, but Zhu Kai stops the attack and uses his power to counterattack. They both then attack each other with their ultimate moves, where Zhuo Kai overpowers Dong Ting and feels disgusted to waste time on her. Meanwhile, Chi Yu overpowers Yang Yun, but suddenly Zhuo Kai's spear pierces his stomach. Zhuo then uses another powerful move to trap Chi Yu, after which the trio combine their powers to summon a giant beast, but suddenly, Dong Ting kills Yang Yun and Du Zion. Just then, Fu Fu pierces Zhuo Kai's chest with his own spear, saying that she can never betray Dong Ting. Afterward, Chi Yu absorbs their spirits to restore his real body. Contrarily, Hai sees a pyramid floating in the sky, and Sansang tells him that every 144 months it moves over and hangs above the darkness untended, and this day is known as the Day of Arrival. Zhang reveals that this is the day he was talking about, and Lu Shu informs them that they have arrived at their next checkpoint. Meanwhile, a man goes to Samer and tells him about intruders before asking his permission to have fun with them. Samer allows, and as he leaves, he asks his servants to bring Bai. Samer's servants bring Bai to him, and once she gets closer, Samer removes his hypnotizing magic, which brings her back to her senses. Bai says that she doesn't know him and asks her to let her go home, but Samer says that from now on, this is going to be her home. Just then, the formation for Magic Circle completes, and Samer tells Bai that her mother gave him the seed of wood of blasphemy, which starts turning into a massive tree. Suddenly, magical branches come out of the tree and pull Bai inside. Meanwhile, Hai and others keep moving forward until they are stopped by the tomb keeper girl known as Insu. She lifts her lantern and puts them under an illusion, but Zhang wakes Hai up and tells him that the lantern's light traps people in the moment of their past life's death. Lu Shu gets engaged in a close battle with the Insu, but she suddenly uses the same trick again, so Hai intervenes and stops her from using the spell. Out of nowhere, the hat boy named Ramadal jumps in and attacks Hai, but he blocks it. Ramadal tells Insu that Samer ordered him to deal with the intruder, and he tells our squad that he is their opponent. On the other hand, Chi Yu leaves the body of his servant and eventually consumes him along with the others. Back in the hell, Zhang reveals that the more spiritual Kai someone has, the more damage he will get by Ramadal's fire. Ramadan says that he won't let them ruin Samer's plan, so Zhang asks him if he is talking about the Wood of Blasphemy. Upon Hai's question, Sansang explains that Wood of Blasphemy is an ancient holy item that can nurture the three realms and reproduce the universe. However, that needs a huge amount of spiritual kai to take root and sprout, which is why Samer needs Bai. On the other hand, just as Chiyu gets his body back, a strange cut appears on Zhang's neck, and he says that his soul consists of several spiritual bodies and one of them is waking inside of him along with his memories. In a flashback, young Zhang is found unconscious by Chiyu, who drags him on the edge of a cliff and shows him that the world is full of wandering spirits by giving him his facial mark. He then introduces himself to Zhang as the mightiest lord of war among the three realms. At present, Zhang finds out that Chiyu has resurrected once again. Contrarily, Dongting reminds him the promise he made, so Chiyu surrounds her with his powers. In the underworld, as people are living their lives normally, a storm suddenly covers the sky and destroys the underworld pass, after which Chiyu teleports into the underworld. The Great Emperor is informed about the whole situation, but he doesn't care much and tells Xiaomi to focus on the game. All Yin marshals gather to face Chiyu under Siku's command. However, Chiyu laughs at them and tells them to call the King of Ghosts to help them. Siku becomes furious that Chiyu is thinking so lowly about the underworld's troops, so Chiyu cuts the crap and starts absorbing spirits of his troops. All Yin marshals also start feeling exhausted, but Siku tells his comrades to stop Chiyu even if they die trying. The Yin marshals try to attack Chiyu, but he stops them without lifting a finger. At that moment, Bao appears at the scene and tells Chiyu that he is no longer the King of Ghosts, because his spiritual kai has also fallen. He tells Chiyu to stop, but he summons the enormous ghost Xingtian, who was once buried under Fengdu City. Back in the hell, Zhang tells his friends that things are not looking good, so Lu Shu tells others to pick up the pace, and they all start fighting once again. Meanwhile, Bao tries to convince Chiyu to give up on his so-called idea of revenge, but he doesn't agree with Bao's ideology. Just then, White Dragon attacks Chiyu, but Xingtian protects him and punches him. However, White Dragon shows his true form and wraps himself around Xingtian's arm, who punches him and throws him out of his dragon form. Chiyu makes fun of White Dragon when suddenly White Dragon fires 5 Jinko cannons at once. Unexpectedly, Chiyu blocks the attack with only one hand. In the hell, Ramadal unleashes his full power, but Zhang and Hai give him a hard time with their teamwork, while Sansang and Lu Shu join forces to take down Ansu. However, they don't give up easily. Hai, Lu Shu, and Zhang get serious and deliver the final blow, resulting in defeating them for good. Zhang then gives their spiritual cores to Hai and tells him that now he must stop Samer on his own and bring back Bai. Sansang says that he has fulfilled his commitment, and Zhang says that he and Lu Shu have more important things to do. With this, Hai goes forward alone, after which Zhang and Lu Shu return to the underworld. Siku orders his men to surround Zhang, and he announces that the Great Emperor has ordered to reinstate Zhang as the King of Ghosts, leaving everyone surprised. Zhang then tells Chiyu that he is the same boy he once saved, when suddenly Chiyu approaches him and asks him to return the part of his soul. Zhang dodges his attack and tells him that he is destined to destroy Chiyu. However, Chiyu orders Xingtian to start the show, so Zhang asks Siku to handle Xingtian. Contrarily, Dongting and Fufu enter Red Dragon Estate, where Samara welcomes them, but Dongting asks him about Bai and attacks him with her powers. Samara asks why she isn't killing him, and he starts walking towards her. He hugs her and says that he knew that she still loves him, but suddenly, he takes another seed of blasphemy out of Dongting's body. Fufu attacks Samara, but he throws her away with a single attack. He then shows him Bai's condition and tells her that Chiyu's blood inside her and Bai's powers will make the tree grow rapidly. He throws the seed on the floor and pushes Dongting at the same place, resulting in her getting consumed by the second tree. Just then, Samer notices that Fufu is also getting consumed by the tree, when Dongting apologizes to Fufu, saying that she loved and cared for her for this very moment. However, Fufu gladly accepts this and vanishes. Dongting then tells Samer that without the spiritual kai supporting the tree, it will collapse soon, which means that he has failed. Just then, Bai falls off the tree and Dongting saves her from getting hurt. Bai gains consciousness and sees Dongting, who calls her daughter for the first time and tells her about her power that can destroy the three realms. She adds that she always hurt her and stayed away from her to keep her safe, which brings tears in Bai's eyes, and Dongting also vanishes right after she tells Bai that she loves her. Samer then shows transform into his second form, thinking that he can still use Bai, so he uses his hypnotizing trick once again, but suddenly Hai interrupts him and saves Bai. With a furious expression, Hai says that he is going to take down for hurting his sister, so Samer pulls out his sword as well, and they both start fighting. Samara stops Hai by creating a barrier, but he breaks it with his unlimited spiritual Kai. This makes Samar furious, so he gets serious and throws him off the building with a single blow, after which he attacks him with his magic circles. On the other hand, Chiyu gives Zhang a hard time without even getting serious, but Zhang doesn't give up. He creates a powerful shield to block Samar's attack, but due to exhaustion he falls onto his knees. Chiyu mocks Zhang for being weak, but Zhang uses his final trump card and surprises Chiyu by creating a powerful barrier. Meanwhile, Lu Shu falls unconscious due to exhaustion, and Siku tells the Yin marshals to focus on breaking Xingtian's legs, but he uses an ultimate attack then shakes all realms. Zhang reveals that Dong Ting transferred part of her soul to him because she knew this day was going to come, and now he is going to take Chiyu down with him. Suddenly, Lu Shu wakes up and realizes that Zhang is going to sacrifice himself to take down Chiyu, so she starts crying while Chiyu loses his calm and he starts cursing Zhang. He creates his most powerful shield to block Zhang's attack, but Zhang's energy starts swallowing everything like a black hole. Chiyu realizes that all the spirits he collected so far are also getting sucked by Zhang's energy, after which he starts turning into dust and vanishes ultimately. However, the tremendous power doesn't spare Zhang, so he also starts vanishing, but with a calm smile on his face. Lu Shu keeps crying since she couldn't tell Zhang that she has romantic feelings for him. Bao and Yin marshals also watch everything when suddenly a powerful explosion settles down Zhang and Chiyu's battle and kills Xingtian as well. The Hell Realm also gets affected by this whole scene and demons start coming out of the land, so Samar transforms into his final form and slams Hai on a cliff behind him. Hai uses his sword's power to make it out of Samar's claws, but Samar starts throwing energy blasts at him. Hai once again jumps at Samar to cut him down. However, Samar throws him away, so Hai transforms into his final form and starts attacking him without holding back his powers. Unexpectedly, Samar pierces Hai with the horn that he pulled out of his head during their battle in the underworld. Just when he tries to finish Hai off, Bai steps in front of him and transforms using her powers that she couldn't control. She steps forward, making Samar pee his pants and stepping back when suddenly the demons from the depths of hell drag him down to the core of the realm. As Bai helps Hai to stand on his feet, Sansang appears out of blue and gives the seed of blasphemy to Bai, telling her that only she can stop the universe from getting destroyed. Bai convinces Hai to let her save countless lives of the three realms, after which she gets consumed by the tree, and everything returns to normal. Afterward, Bai reincarnates, and Hai becomes the new king of ghosts, who now understands that with great power comes great responsibility. With this, the story of two weaklings reaches its end, but every ending is the beginning of something new, so if you want to watch more interesting videos, then don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.